everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Is that annoying? Is that really how I do it every time?
You
I'm
do
sorry.
sound like that.
Hello, everyone. This is another episode of the TB&J podcast, featuring my co-host, Troy Brittingham.
You are Jeff.
I am Jeff. This is another episode. We're going to talk about the Halo thing and the show on Paramount Plus.
The Halos. And
The Halos. You know, the kids always talking about the Master Chiefs and the Covenants.
You were slowly slipping into a Bill Cosby for a second.
Oh, Rudy! Who wants a pudding pop? That's a bad impression.
Well, I don't know if we want to be doing a whole lot of Bill impressions on this.
Who wants some Quaaludes?
I don't like that.
No. Philadelphia legend, Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Is he still doing a tour soon?
Yep.
How do you tell, like, your friend, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to, like, a comic, and they're like, oh, who is it? And you're like, who,
Well, that's your first part. You had some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Shame. Thank you. You don't have any of that if you're going to do that.
I guess that's fair,
The same people that defended quarterback Deshaun Watson.
That's also fair.
And anyway, TB&J, Halo. This is episode 5, right?
Yep.
Oh my God! I went to open Chrome and I got 17,000 ad block plus fucking tabs just opened. That's so fucking ridiculous. Anyway, Halo episode 5. So this is the immediate aftermath of the fall of Reach, and
this is the everybody's sad episode.
Yeah, this is the everybody's sad. Everybody's kind of figuring out what to do. You know what's going on.
Half the characters are dead.
Yeah. So Troy, thumbs up, thumbs down.
A third of the characters are dead. I think I'm gonna go thumbs up on this one.
I'm leaning thumbs up.
Okay.
But I was pretty skeptical, a little negative about this going into it.
It is after the best episode they've had of the show.
That's true, right? Like it's a hard one to follow, and I don't want to necessarily take that away from them. Because, you know, they did a pretty decent job, especially with, all the fucking Reach stuff. Like, that whole battle walking through Reach was awesome. It could have been, its own fucking, mini-movie or some shit. But
I'm also going to go out and say, if it colors your opinion anyway, I also think that this is the episode of the season. It has, some pretty high highs in it. I think it may have some of the biggest actual kind of bad scenes in this episode.
Oh yeah? Do you have one in particular you're thinking of?
Not really. So bad maybe the wrong word for it, but I didn't like any of the.
Yeah, we're all a little froggy today. Don't
Sorry.
worry about it, buddy.
I don't like the McKee stuff still. This is the first time we're kind of seeing her do stuff again, and we were hesitant. Well, I was hesitant to say that she's just bad, and then this is the first time that we got a whole lot of her doing a thing on in dialogue, and I don't really think that I'm that engaged in all of this part of the storyline.
I don't like the McKee stuff. The McKee stuff and the Quan Ha stuff really, I've tried to give Quan a second chance in the new season, and so far it's been pretty good. This episode, I was really, I was with it right up until the end. And then I was immediately right off the Quan train.
100% agree.
It was a really good scene at first where she had a vision of the older woman who died in the first episode of this season when her planet got glassed and Chief and the crew were trying to save them. And she just kept doing the same thing.
She actually has an incredible episode this time around, and then there's 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of emotional growth here. And she was talking to the corpse of Vanek about how, listen, I can't mourn an entire planet because my brain literally can't comprehend that. But I can mourn you, and I need you to represent all those people.
Yeah.
And her having that little conversation with Vanek's corpse was really endearing. And I really actually kind of vibed with that, and I liked it.
She's arguably the best character in this episode until that happens.
Yeah, and then when the woman, says Madrigal, and then she stops and has a dramatic turn, what did you say? And then it's like, no, I'm no one. Never mind. You're Quan Ha. What did you say? With a second dramatic turn. And then, like, she's like, no, never mind, walk away. And then she says something else. And it's like, what did you say? For a third dramatic turn? Like, stop it. What is this? Who directed this episode?
We kept watching her do a fucking Fight Club fight scenes for a little bit against nobody. It was it was weird. It was odd.
So bizarre. I didn't understand why that was happening the way it was. It was so fucking bizarre.
I liked all the Riz stuff.
Riz awesome. I'm so glad that she has I guess what counts as a happy ending.
But I am gonna have to wrap around with all this in mind. Is it thumbs up or thumbs down?
What's up?
You never gave a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, I did. I said thumbs up.
Okay. You said you were leaning thumbs up. I didn't know if you had chosen.
Maybe you're right. It's definitely a thumbs up.
Okay.
I don't absolutely love it. I will say one of my favorite things, really early on, there's a fucking brute chieftain that pops down through the ceiling to fight Chief and the gang while they're still on reach, and he's got the fucking gravity hammer, and he smacks the side of where Chief's hiding, and they all go blasting back with a little concussive blast, and I'm like, yes, they didn't fuck up the gravity hammer. It actually works as intended. It looks pretty damn cool. And they only had to do it once, and then the fucking brute chieftain gets killed because Soren's wife comes in to save the day.
Yeah, our last episode actually ended with us saying that there's still these side characters who aren't really wrapped into the main story yet, which is Quan Ha and Soren's wife.
Lyra, I think her name is.
Yeah,
Lyra.
It is Lyra.
Lyra.
And they basically second one of this episode are in with the main group, because I think that like Soren has benefited a lot by being with the main group, and who else has joined with the main kind of core group? I got not really anybody else, but Halsey too, but Halsey was sort of in the first season too, but
she wasn't like part of the fire team.
Sure, there's a lot more people bouncing off of each other, and I don't want to call it banter because everybody's very sad and not bantery in this episode.
Soren does his best. He tries.
Yeah, well, Soren's the banter guy,
and I love him for that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
And I wasn't feeling him at the beginning of this season, and he was my favorite of the new characters in the first season. Or Soren? No, Soren's not. Soren is technically like in books and stuff, I believe, right?
Oh,
I think we've looked into that.
You're asking the wrong guy, but pretend the answer is yes. Did you have a?
No, I was pretending. I was closing my eyes. I was imagining.
I
was visioning.
So it's not an awkward pause. I'll leave that.
Right,
in
right. Just assume that my fingers were on my temple, and I was just sort of imagining a world where he was from books and something.
Got it. Okay. Yes is the answer. He definitely is in other things.
Yeah, I remember that conversation from us talking about the first season.
Yeah.
But he is.
He's also the only known Spartan to volunteer for the program, according to his Halo wiki.
But
entry.
he was one of my favorite kind of side characters of the first season, and the second season sort of started off, and I was up on everything else, and then his whole side quest I was kind of down on.
Really?
And he's wrapped back around to me liking him a lot again.
Well, his side quest for the beginning of this season was just, I gotta find Halsey and kill her for what she did to me. Which, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I guess. And then the next time we saw him, he was with Halsey in the prison during the fall of Reach. And he was like, you know what? This is bigger than you. Peace out, bitch.
Yeah, the moment the fall of Reach starts, I'm back on board on Soren again.
Yeah, and he does a really, really, really good job. Yeah. I do really enjoy Soren so far in season 2. The first episode I think did him dirty with his little like blind betrayal out in the middle of nowhere. But now that he's back and he's like kicking ass and helping out Chief and trying to find his kid, I am on board with Soren. Soren's pretty cool.
Yeah.
His wife, I think. I'm starting to like her more.
I'm hot and cold on her.
Yeah.
Every scene I have a different opinion of her, it feels like.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way. It certainly ended on an up note for me when she had the barbed wire stick and she was threatening the shopkeeper guy to get her son's location.
Right, when she tries to Walking Dead a man.
Yeah, really. She makes her own little Lucille.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Super on board with that. Love it. And I think one of the things for me, and my wife put it perfectly when we were watching this together, was that she looks like an AI generated person.
Yeah, she's
Her
got a
facial
strange
features just a little off, and I don't want to necessarily make. I backtrack. I do not want to make fun of the woman, and I'm not. It's just the character looks a little weird. I don't know how much of that is like makeup and lighting and the hair or what. But after she takes off her fake like silver wig and she has like her natural brunette hair, it's like, oh, you look a little more like a person now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it. Okay, this is better. This is a lot better. Okay, we can roll with this. And after that, I was like, okay, cool, back on board. Because I'm a terrible shallow man.
Well, we knew, that we did know that we were very aware of.
Yeah, you should have known that.
Yeah.
So
I tell everybody.
Do you have like a particular highlight for this episode?
Highlight of this episode is honestly a lot of the Kwanha and Chief stuff leading up to the funeral and all of the Riz stuff.
Which I have no proof of this, and if a listener does have proof or know where I can get this information, please let me know. Comments on the YouTube video or whatever. I'm pretty sure this is the first funeral for a Spartan we've ever seen. I'm almost certain it's the first funeral we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the first Spartan funeral that we've ever like been a witness to, either as like a reader reading about it or somebody watching a game or the show, it's very interesting to see that happen. And we not only get the first Spartan funeral, as far as I know, but we also get a Spartan that just completely abandons everything and leaves behind their tags. I guess on paper, Riz is now missing in action.
Yep.
Because you can't just put her down as, abandon her post.
She a farmer now.
Yeah. she gonna be farming now or something with her crutches and her broken arms. But honestly, good for Riz. That's as close as you're gonna get to a happy ending in this universe, I feel like.
As soon as there was a character who said, like, oh, yeah, and we have this weird tradition where we have in our lore, and when we're here, we don't leave. And I was like, okay, so what you're telling me is that somebody's staying?
Yeah. I did think it was a little weird that the fall of Reach happened in the span of, 2 days, and it happened while Chief was unconscious, so we missed it.
Yeah.
We saw, the battles going on in Episode 4, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. All of that was super, super good, and there's only so much of that you can do across a TV show without it being repetitive and unhelpful to the story,
Sure.
I suppose. I'm not a writer. I'm not a director. But in Halo lore that's established, the fall of Reach took a good length of time, and it was fucking huge. And it started, and then Chief's out, and then he comes back, and they're just like, it's over. And we're on this other planet. Yay! Soren's gonna go find his kid, and Halsey's gonna stitch up Riz.
Do you feel like there's a tiny little bit of a cop-out energy in it, where it's just like, if we don't show you all of the fall of Reach, it can be whatever you imagine, and the thing that you imagine won't mess up your version of Halo?
It could be. I do know that they had no such thought process when they killed Admiral Keyes.
Sure.
In his out in a blaze of glory, trying to save the transport of civilians, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was a fine way to send out Admiral Keyes in this story that is not trying to be Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I say that it's
Season 2 is trying much more to be Halo than the first season was, but
that's not what I mean.
Sure.
It's got the spirit of Halo in there.
Okay.
It's not trying to be Halo as we know it.
Right.
It's taking the characters in the universe we know and spinning a new story.
This isn't a Zack Snyder Watchmen where he one for one, panel for panel recreates it without a squid at the end.
Yeah, this is a completely different take on the universe and characters we know and love.
And still kind of misses the point of Watchmen, but that's a story for a different podcast.
Yeah, I mean that's a Zack Snyder problem.
I don't totally hate that movie, but it's strange.
What do you think of Arbiter? We got to see Arbiter.
So I don't have a whole lot of Arbiter experience. The game I've played the most with Arbiter in it is Killer Instinct.
That's right.
I haven't really played any game where Arbiter's like a big character, so I don't know a whole lot of him.
In Halo 2, you play as Chief and Arbiter.
Yeah.
You go back and forth between missions, and you kind of see Arbiter's like disillusionment with the Prophets and how he realizes that their goal is to activate the Halo rings and destroy the universe. And Arbiter's like, well, that's not cool.
Mhm.
So he kind of leaves the Covenant and ends up joining up with Chief in Halo 3.
He is Keith David's, right?
Yeah.
Then by principle, I have to think he's at least pretty cool.
I mean, you absolutely should. Come on now.
There are no not cool Keith David characters.
Yeah, he's the fucking Arbiter. Come on now, man.
And he can say there shouldn't be a guy that has a voice that sounds like that, also can sing, is an incredibly talented actor, and like he shouldn't be allowed to do all the things that he does.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be allowed to be Spawn and a Disney villain and the Arbiter and in Community.
So the excuse me. The cop out, I guess, for that, if you don't like the Arbiter here, is that the Arbiter is a title. It's not a guy. The problem that I am now faced with is that you want his name. I could give it to you in my terrible white American tongue. It's not going to come out right.
You don't need to do this.
Just Google it. Just Google it. There have been so many different guys that have taken the helm of the Arbiter, but the last one is the one that partners up with John 117 in the games. He's in Halo 2, 3, and 5.
Okay.
But yeah, Arbiter. I in the way they've set up this universe, it kind of makes sense that McKee has to be the one to make Arbiter kind of believe that he is something else. I don't like how they've done this, because Arbiter's more of a free thinker than what you're led to believe currently in the TV series.
Sure.
But within the rules of the universe they've created, it seems like that was kind of the only way, without just like having him make up his own ideas.
Right, and also dedicating like 3 episodes to just him.
Yeah, I mean they're doing the best with what they have, I think. The people that wrote this show are fans of the source material, and they are doing their best to adapt it in such a way that's good for TV, while also doing their own little story. It's tough, right? Everyone just wants them to do like a 1-for-1 remake of the video game, but like so many of those stories are extra long. They've got so much fluff just to make your game turn into like a 15-hour experience.
Right. It's not the same as a Last of Us, where The Last of Us is sort of paced at a thing where if you just cut out some of the fight scenes, it becomes a TV show anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's a much different, like there's moments of Halo where you're going 30 minutes of just level design fighting Covenant. Like that's it.
Exactly. And you have to figure out how to adapt that for television. I don't envy the people that are making this show. They are absolute targets of a lot of online bullshit, just because, you know, you took something beloved and by a bunch of people and you're adapting it into a different format. You're taking creative liberties. People are going to have problems with that. I'm sure doing my very best to separate the source material from this and really try to take in the TV show as a different thing entirely.
And I do think we have gotten to an age where there is a ton of negativity around, like whenever somebody fucks up something like this. And
I don't believe that.
You don't think so?
I do not believe pardon me. I do not believe the world is as negative as we are led to believe.
No, I'll agree with that. I'm just
Okay.
saying sort of the internet outrage at a thing
Yes.
will explode.
Yes, the internet, once it gets mad at something, and people love to say the internet as like a group of people.
Sure.
That's not entirely true. There are plenty of people that love this show and think it's doing great, but the angry people always yell the loudest, and the people that agree with them tend to echo it and make it even louder than it is. Halo
and then
is
you have
certainly-
we've seen it before. If it's a Ghostbusters, it's a sequels. It's a
if it's a
Lord
Last
of the
of
Rings
Us with the episode with the love story that just happened to be two men. That happened. That was all over the fucking internet. People got really mad.
Right. Mad at one of the greatest episodes of TV show that has come out of in the last 10 years.
And then you get Nick Offerman calling people assholes because they have a problem with it. It's like, fuck you. He literally said it's a love story. It has nothing to do with being gay. You're just an asshole. Because somebody's asking about it. Because I think he won an award for that recently, for that episode. And rightfully so.
And you should. That's when, like I said, maybe the greatest episode in the last 10 years of TV.
One of the greatest single episodes of TV ever. For sure. And I'm glad that it is actually getting the acclaim it deserves, and the people that are naysaying it aren't bringing it down artificially. But Halo,
and also if you haven't seen it at home, you can watch just that episode and not the rest of the show.
Yeah, that episode has almost nothing to do with the overarching story of Last of Us. But I digress. Halo, back on track here. You see what I did there?
But what I was going to say about Halo was the problem with this show is that as much as we defended some of the stuff in the first season, you're also fighting upcurrent against that, and also the fact that your first season is kind of bad. There's like a double thing now, and I'm pretty convinced this season will end up being good. It has like a chance to steer back in the wrong direction, but I think I don't think it will. I think it's pretty on course.
Especially with the way that episode 5 here ends, with Kai clearly under Ackerson. She got on the ships. She evacuated Reach. She's in her armor. She puts on her helmet and gets up to the deck of the ship, and it's full unit of Spartan 3s.
It's very Attack of the Clones coded.
Yeah, it really was. But according to the official episode summary, those are Spartan 3s that she is now in command of as Spartan 2 Kai. Awesome. I'm so ready to see Kai leading all these Spartan 3s and ultimately maybe being a bad guy.
This
could end in a fight between Kai and John, for all we know.
This show has the opportunity to do something actually better than the games and basically turn her into Spartan Locke.
Ooh. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
Which is a fight that everybody was very disappointed with. And there's more baggage between we know Kai and all of us I feel like liked Kai season 1.
Oh yeah, Kai was awesome.
She's kind of my favorite character.
She was a ball of personality in an entire show that lacked it. She was awesome.
So if they are like, yeah, she's the one that always follows Chief and she's always ready to do basically the same thing as him and thinks that he's like the best. And then slowly Ackerson's just like, actually, he's kind of a psychopath. And slowly over time, she's like, yeah, you're right. And then they fight in the same way that those two did. But it's not a weird bad cutscene and then you fight somebody else. It could be pretty sick. And it could be the one thing that they do not as good as the game, but like better than the game.
I will say, according to the subtitles that we saw, as well as the episode summary, the name of the Arbiter in the show is Var Gatanai, short. The Arbiter that is with Chief in the games is Thel Vadam. So it is a different Arbiter. It's a different character entirely. So maybe this one ends up dying and getting replaced with somebody who does believe.
Him kill Vanek, right?
Yes.
I imagine this one's dead for that reason.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he's just like, actually, I think the Covenants kind of suck, and then him to be like, actually, yeah, you're fine, guy who killed my friend.
I think what the problem was, and I'm saying the problem that I'm guilty of, I imagine some other people may be guilty of it as well if they're more casual fans of the franchise. I saw Arbiter, and I assumed it was the same. I forgot Arbiter was a title. It's not necessarily the name of the guy. So I was like, okay. So now that that's more clear in my head, I get it. Another thing I really want to highlight that I loved so much is that all of the war propaganda from the UNSC now has pictures of Master Chief 117, and it says finish his fight.
Yep.
Because the UNSC believes John died on Reach. They believe Chief is gone and dead. And I guess that was what they wanted, because he wasn't playing their little politics game. I find it kind of funny that they are just willing to throw him away like that. However, it does make sense in like an actual realistic military perspective. If you have a soldier, no matter how good they are, if they can't follow orders, they're not an effective soldier. So you have to handle the situation. It's one of the things I learned growing up in a military household. Thanks, Dad. I know you listen.
We should have a bingo card. And thanks,
every time
Dad.
I thank my dad.
Thanks, Dad. I know you listen. Should definitely be on there.
That absolutely should be a bingo spot. It also wasn't sarcastic, Dad. It sounded, excuse me. It sounded mean and sarcastic, Dad, but it was legit. Thank you. You taught me a lot of stuff. Some of it useful, a lot of it not. He taught me how to use a sextant to locate where I am in the world, using like a little thingy in my position with the stars and the horizon.
I don't think that we should have sex ed in schools. It seems like a bad idea.
Anyway, find me another kid raised in the 2000s that could teach you what a fuck a sextant is. I'm curious to see where the UNSC plotline goes. Ackerson and I believe Kai, they must believe Chief is dead. They have to, right? They're putting Kai in command. So they're like, Chief's gone. You're the leader of Silver Team now. Here you go. Or, new team. This is Gold Team. Or whatever. Blue Team,
so
if you want to go with the lock theory.
They have Silver and they have Cobalt, right?
Cobalt.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Cobalt is a D&D monster.
Yeah.
Different thing.
But what if it was a bunch of little dragons?
In the episode where they had Chief getting mad that they put Cobalt as MIA, it got me saying it now, Cobalt as MIA, you can see other teams listed there. And I mentioned it when we did that episode.
Yeah.
But one of them was a team from the books. So there are other teams. I believe in the games, Chief's team is... Is it Silver Team?
No, it's specifically not Silver Team. I know that. I just don't remember what it is. Or I don't know what it is, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's tough. I'm fucking drawing so many goddamn blanks. But it doesn't matter. I believe Locke's team was the Blue Team, right?
That I also don't know.
Why do you not remember?
I told you I don't have a whole lot of Halo knowledge.
Oh,
I don't know
I'm
things.
completely wrong. Blue Team is Master Chief's team.
Okay.
So I have no idea who Locke was the...
Why is he wear green then? Smart guy.
Well, he's currently the leader of Silver Team. Tell me that.
Also fair.
Tell me that. Bitch. Yeah. What? Anyway. None of this matters too much.
Nothing matters.
I want to remind people.
Show's fake.
If you're not into spoilers,
none of this happened.
This is the end of the episode for you then. But I want to remind Troy, the last 3 episodes, their titles are available. The next one is called Onyx, which is the name of the planet Kai is on with Ackerson.
And Brock's main Pokemon.
Not spelled the same.
Okay.
Episode 7 is called Thermopylae. No idea what that could mean just yet. I thought it would be a Reach thing.
Leonidas
it's clearly
shows up.
not a Reach thing. I don't think Leonidas is going to show up. We're in the year 2580 dickety-7 or some shit.
You don't know what technology they have. Maybe they brought him back.
Maybe.
Just him.
And then the last episode is obviously called Halo.
What could that mean?
Could mean anything, man. So now we got McKee and her Arbiter looking for Halo. We got Halsey who's trying to convince John we got to look for Halo. And we are probably going to get there by the end of this season. I imagine we'll get another meetup between McKee and John by the end of the season. If she's not dead. I really hope she's dead. I don't think she's going to be dead.
I don't think she's going to be dead.
But I think now that they've turned their backs on the Prophets, I think she gives Cortana back to John. We get them reunited, and McKee and New Arbiter... New Arbiter's probably not long for this world, but whatever covenant he has with him might join.
His name
Chief
is Narbiter.
But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens in the last couple episodes. They have a lot of ways they could take it. It doesn't have to end with them opening up into like Halo Combat Evolved, which we all thought it would. It would be the fall of Reach leading into Combat Evolved.
I think season 3 we definitely get Flood, though. I don't know if it's going to be in the same way, but it's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing: do they even have Flood in the show?
I think that they would probably.
This so far has been a pretty standard run-of-the-mill like sci-fi drama. If you throw Flood into the mix, this becomes a very different show.
Yeah, I agree.
Halo started out, if you played it, like any other sci-fi first-person shooter, and then the Flood show up and it turns into a horror game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because most of them move silently, which I don't know if that was intended or not back in 2000, 2001, but that's how it happened. So I want the Flood to be there, but in reality, they could do whatever they want with the Halos.
I don't think anything's coming this season for that.
No,
I think
for sure not.
I think that maybe the best you have is a little teaser at the end of the season.
Yeah, maybe we get like a Guilty Spark 343 showing up.
Yeah, I would be pretty surprised if it wasn't in the next season or at the latest 4.
If it's not in the next season, I don't know what they're going to do for next season.
Yeah.
Unless it's just like they have to fight the Covenant that are coming to attack them on the Halo.
Yeah.
But even then, like if you're on Halo, you're going to find the Flood if you're including it in your show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of the Halos, is to contain the Flood. Spoiler alert, if you didn't play Halo 1, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, back in the Harvard Yard, we played Halo on the tube TVs.
We shot elites and we liked it.
The Magnum revolver was the best gun. Revolver? No, it was a pistol. Jesus.
We had 6 guns and we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah.
How many guns are in the first Halo?
There's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of UNSC guns.
There's assault rifle, there's sniper rifle, there's Magnum, there's shotgun, there's rocket launcher. Energy pistol?
Plasma pistol.
Yeah.
Not energy pistol. Plasma pistol, plasma rifle.
Sure.
Needler.
Yeah, Needler. Fusion coil? Yes
Nope.
or no?
Nope. I played Halo recently.
Ooh.
Fusion coil launcher's not in that game.
Energy sword?
I don't remember the sword being in Halo 1.
Interesting.
It might be. Audience,
like
that's the end of the episode, but Troy and I are going to find out. List of Halo weapons.
I can't imagine a Halo game without the sword.
So, we've got the pistol, the assault rifle, the shotgun, the
Mm-hmm.
rocket launcher, sniper rifle, flamethrower.
Ooh.
I don't remember the flamethrower.
Interesting.
The flamethrower is apparently in Halo. Oh, it was only available in the PC Mac versions of the game.
Okay, well.
I'm not going to count it. Then you got your plasma pistol, plasma rifle, needler, frag grenade, sticky grenade, and that.
So we got them all?
We did. Wow, it's very short. The fuel rod gun exists as a weapon the Covenant use. You can't get one.
Interesting. So there's
That's
no sword, no hammer. I mean, I knew that. I was guessing there was probably no
also
hammer.
no battle rifle.
Yeah, I could have seen no battle rifle though.
Jeez, that's oof. All right. That concludes this episode of our Halo coverage. Thank you all so much for listening. If you liked us, review us, subscribe.
Please like us.
Let's be honest, you're not listening.
Really need the
as soon as
confidence.
we talked about weapons, you stopped listening.
We really need the confidence. Please like us.
Every like you give makes me make Troy eat something new.
Don't like us, actually. We kind of suck. We're not very good at this. We don't know anything about Halo. We don't know anything about shows. I've never seen a TV show or a movie.
I don't
Never
own
once.
a TV.
I don't own a TV either. I live in the woods.
You have a phone, right?
No.
Everyone has a phone. The Diablo guys told me you have a phone, right?
Where's Diablo Immortal at now?
Who cares? Goodbye.